What happens when a sports science graduate decides to become a physician and then brings the science of exercise back into the medicine? So, ang guest natin today, mga ka-legit, is si Dr. Fidel Ballesteros. So, isang family physician and a diplomat of the Philippine Academy of Family Physicians who first trained sa sports science ka pala dati, Doc, sa UP Diliman, and nag-pursue na siya ng medicine. So, today, he practices family and community medicine and using bio-psychosocial approach in primary care against lifestyle related diseases. And his mission is simple but ambitious to bridge the gap between doctors and the fitness industry so exercise can be used effectively to prevent and manage the diseases that burden the lives of many Filipinos each year. So very relevant din pala tsaka align pala yung topic na pag-usapan natin ni Doc Fidel sa mission niya. So, mga ka-legit, welcome natin si Doc Fidel Ballesteros.
Good day,
Sige Doc,
everyone.
baka may mga di pa ako nabanggit sa introduction mo na what you do in your work.
Ano naman? Sakto. Thank you, Coach Ja, for the introduction. So yun po. Apart from being a diplomat of the Philippine Academy of Family Physicians, I also teach personal trainers sa Gold's Gym Fitness Institute, particularly on health risk screening and assessment prior to client starting exercise. So
Doc, kailangan nag-start sa FIC? Kasi, di ba, nabanggit ko kanina sa bago tayo magsimula na nag-FIC ako 12 years ago. Kailan mo nag-start doon?
Nung 12 years ago, wala na ako doon kasi nag-medicine na ako. That was
nag-medicine na.
2014 di ba? So, before I left Gold's Gym to study medicine, I was already one of the faculty members nung hindi pa siya FIC. Basic instructor course pa lang siya. And we're opening it lang dun sa mga trainers lang ng Gold's Gym before it was open to the public.
Oh, okay.
So yun pa yung
So,
start
BIC
noon.
lang pala siya dati.
Oo,
tas
dati,
may ano.
yes. So yun ang ano natin.
So, 14, wala ka na doon. So, iba na yung
Yeah,
tuturo na
oo.
health screening nun.
2014 was the year I entered medical school sa UERM.
Nagkasalisihan pala tayo.
Oo nga. Eh,
Hindi sana naging teacher ko
Gabot,
pala kayo
oo.
sa FIC. Yeah, but marami na rin batch yung FIC ngayon, no? Tsaka parang isa siya sa mga naging leading instructor course dito sa Philippines. Kasi ako, my first hand experience ako na very objective yung turo rin kasi nila. Parang hindi ko makita na branded talagang evidence-based din yung turo nila. Kaya despite 12 years ago ko na siya huling tinake, sinasabi ko pa rin sa iba na I came from FIC. Ayan. Tapos, by the way, short history lang. Nagkakilala kami ni Doc kasi napanood ko sila sa podcast sila, Coach Chap and Prof. Wisdom Baliser. Tapos, naglalaro ng tennis. Isa pala sa mga close niya, barkada niya, kalaro ko sa tennis. So, doon ko naisip na, kausapin ko na si Doc since ayoko naman maging limited lang sa palakihan ng muscle, palakasan ng cardio yung fitness platform natin, kundi kailangan may medical touch din so that we would know ano yung mga kailangan natin consider, tsaka ano yung mga steps na kailangan natin gawin aside from self-regulation and self-management. Ayan. So, Doc, from sports science to being physician, paano nangyari to? Paano nangyari to?
Sige, so this is more on a personal story, no. I got into sports science actually kasi hindi ako pumasa sa biochem tsaka sa biology.
Sa UP.
So fallback ko siya degree kasi high school ay hirap pumasok sa UP. I was not familiar with the course itself or the college itself. I didn't know it existed. Medyo napapatawa pa nga ako na ano ba tong course ito? Sige, kunin ko na lang. But it opened my eyes and my life to a world na became essential na ngayon, no? Sports science, ang tuturo sa'yo dyan, well, kasama ang human anatomy, physiology, so medyo may onting, shall we say, may dash ng basic medical knowledge, may first aid, ganyan. Pero on top of that, the goal of the college to train sports science students is to build them up into professionals who are able to design exercise programs, particularly to assess a person properly so that the right kind of exercise program is provided. Kung ano man ang habol nung tao, whether it's for athletic training and conditioning, whether it's for health benefits of exercise. So, when I graduated, Naturally, sa gym ako nagtrabaho. I started my first venture into the fitness industry with Gold's Gym Philippines.
Mm.
Trainer ako dun sa branch namin sa Katipunan dati
Oh,
before it closed kasi sa COVID.
doon ako nag-OJT.
Doon ka nag-OJT. O yun, so
Laki
nakilala
nun, no?
mo sila Ma'am Susan
Susan.
Trinidad.
Yeah,
O
Susan
yeah,
Trinidad.
nako.
Yeah.
One of the best bosses I've ever had. So, yung time na yun, I came from UP, so medyo may onting understanding na ako na we can actually do a little further than what we're doing here in the gym for our clients. And then I get these clients. So one of my first client actually had to battle against metabolic disease and obesity. Yun yung isa sa mga reasons niya. And ako naman, college graduate lang ako. Ano alam ko in helping yung mga questions niya, answering his questions regarding health. And I also had an elderly female client. Meron ako marami akong clients who are hypertensive. So bare minimum lang yung kaya kong ibigay na information apart from just providing the right exercise program. So halfway through my job there, inisip ko, well, actually medyo suntok sa buwan. Sige nga, NMAT ako, try ko kasi may mga nakuha naman akong units. Baka naman mataas ang score.
Yeah.
Mabot naman. Mataas naman yung
Nice.
score. So sige na nga, let's go I went for pursuing medicine na after that. And yun, the rest of it is history until I got into family and community medicine in my residency training. Bakit ko pinili ang family medicine? Kasi all the other specialties, although merong onting discussion on exercise as part of management, pero onti lang talaga. With family medicine, I saw na isa siya dun sa mga core competencies namin, yung lifestyle medicine portion. So, hindi lang exercise, pati nutrition.
Pati
Inaaral
nutrition.
namin. We actually do nutritional prescriptions as well
Oh,
na inire-relay
cover
namin
niya.
sa mga registered nutritionists and dietitians for our patients in the clinic and in the hospital. So, ang nakita ko na lang na butas was, and that's why I'm trying to bring the science of exercise into medicine.
Medicine.
Kasi yun yung butas.
Iyan, yun yung ano.
We follow the general guidelines, pero because I've worked with clients and I work with personal trainers, there could be a little more of this na parang gamot yung approach natin.
Yeah.
So, yun. Now that we're here.
Tama ba, Doc, na right after pag-graduate ng sports science, you took, nag-work ka muna tapos nag-med
Yeah,
ka na.
oo.
Tapos, pero ever since, from the start na nagpunta ka UP, you're planning to be a medical doctor talaga?
Oo. From high school kasi yun ang trajectory. And in UP kasi medyo, nag-enjoy ako kasi for sports. And dati I was a really big fat kid. And then I
Yeah.
came into CHK. Tapos,
Doon ko
nung
talaga
nag-athletic training ako, wow,
naging
pwede
lean
pala
din.
ako maging ganito. Ang lakas pala ng katawan ko, kaya ko palang gawin yun. So, after that, medyo nawala na sa isip ko na mag-doktor. Pero eventually, yun,
Bumalik
din
ulit,
naman
no?
ako.
Maganda rin yung sinabi niyo, Doc, na yung bridging the exercise science to medicine, no? And vice versa, no? And that's what I'm really curious about, kaya kayo rin yung in-invite ko. Lalo na, alam naman natin na not all people in the Philippines or Filipinos are aspiring to be athletes.
That's true.
Ang gusto lang nila is yung athletes mindset, pero makita lang nila na they could have done better or they can do more sa kung ano yung condition nila. Mas maraming population, no? Kaya yun siguro pinipili kong population na kausapin other than sports. Kasi alam ko marami nang magagaling dyan sa sports. No? So, Doc, yung sinend ko sa'yo, na tanong ko rin sa'yo, di ba, based on the PSA 2025
Yeah.
statistics. Kasi talagang, alam mo naman yung title How to beat Filipino killer diseases. Wala namang gustong matigok na maaga. So, yung top 5 is yung ischemic heart disease, neoplasms, cerebrovascular diseases, pneumonia, and diabetes. Ngayon, Doc, ikaw, like, sa tingin mo, bakit ito na yung trend ng mga sakit nating mga Pinoy?
Okay. So, a little into history, no? Nung panahon na sinasakop pa lang tayo ng Amerikano, ng mga Espanyol, nung time that modern medicine was still trying to stand up, the majority of the killers, so-called killers, are actually war, infections, tsaka trauma. Pero ngayon, ito na yung top killers mo. Most of on the list are lifestyle-related diseases.
Yun nga napansin ko eh.
So, what the medical community is actually seeing is an epidemiologic transition. Kung dati, dahil wala pang gaanong range ng antibiotics and medical care was only accessible to the people who are living in the cities, now that we've addressed that, iba naman yung lumalabas na sakit. Part of that is not just yung access to healthcare and the technology available, but because of the technology advancing, yung industrialization of how we get food, yung industrialization of the labor force itself, no? From people who are cutting down trees to plant farm in farmland, mag-aararo. Yung travel noon, it required a lot of people to walk.
Walking.
No? Nung time na lumabas ang Ford Model T and nagkaroon na ng kotse sa Amerika, tayo naglalakad, kalabaw, kabayo. So, most of our activities before were really physically active ang Pinoy. Pero ngayon, ano nang trabaho natin? Ito, ginagawa natin, nakaupo. Majority of our low-income to middle-income workers are stuck in office chairs. Kami po, kahit sa mga doktor, magpapasyente ka ba na nakatayo? Di ba? Hindi. Hindi yun magandang practice. So, we sit down. And we sit down for how many hours a day? When doctors go into their practices sa iba-ibang clinic, to travel, maglalakad ba yan? Hindi. Sasakyan. Upo yan. Kasi sino ang gusto makakita ng pawis na doktor, di ba? So, yung reality of life as it has changed, yun din ang nag-push na mag-iba yung healthcare scenario natin. So, ayun. And I think na knowing that, na ganyan na yung result ng PSA report natin on what kills us, dapat doon talaga yung maging focus din natin. And sa totoo lang, whenever I go into medical conventions, whenever we discuss illnesses, yan at yan lagi, bread and butter. Hypertension, diabetes, obesity. It's the same.
Talagang same problem talaga. And dahil same problem, I think may pattern.
Meron.
May pattern tayo na na-shape ng, yun yung sabi niyo nung pag-industrialize ng culture natin. And actually, I appreciate, Doc, na nag-shed ka ng light dyan kasi yung mga nakikita ko sa social media, someone who create content in social media, lagi nilang ginagawang rationale yung mga ganitong certain practices na yung mga datingang tao fit eh. Ginagawa nila to. For example, yung intermittent fasting, bakit gusto ng mga tao yun? Kasi ang fit daw dati ng mga tao nung mga sinunang panahon, fit sila sa war. So, I try to explain na iba kasing culture dati. Yung sinasabi na 1 meal a day daw is good for health. Sinasabi ko naman sa kanila na, ang hirap naman kasi maghanap ng pagkain before eh. You're gonna hunt for days bago ka makakuha ng pagkain, di ba?
It was not an option, it was the only option.
It was the only option.
Kaya yun ang nangyayari, that's true.
Di ba? So, and the way you find food, physically demanding na unlike ito, mag-click ka lang ng app, meron ka ng food, you know. So, very enlightening sa akin, Doc, na from the history of the Philippines, tas up to now, dun nakikita na yung importansya ng culture at saka ng environment sa nutrition. Pero ito, Doc, mga binanggit na top 5 Filipino killer diseases, are these more of a lifestyle modification? Madadaan ba siya sa lifestyle modification? Gagaling ka ba kapag nag-modify ka ng lifestyle?
So, yun. I this one, before we discuss further, I want to make it clear, especially sa audience, no? Always remember, walang panacea. There's no one pill that cures everything. Pero, also know, as doctors, kasi kami po, may sinusundan kami what we call clinical practice guidelines. Ito po yung mga methods on how we see and manage patients na pinag-usapan at nag-agree ang maraming medical societies, not just here in the country, pero international ito. And what those clinical practice guidelines say in terms of management, at least for hypertension, so sa international standards on the treatment of hypertension, tsaka sa ADA, so yung American Diabetes Association na clinical practice guidelines, the first layer of treatment is not medication. So, hindi po, porke doktor kami, gamot lang ang sinusundan namin. We actually follow the rule na dapat lifestyle modification first. Especially kung you're a 30-year-old male, di ka smoker, pero na-diagnose ka ng hypertension, hindi kami magsa-start kaagad ng gamot.
Medication.
I mean, a proper physician won't. We will encourage you to do moderate intensity aerobic exercise na yung prescribed na general recommendation. Let's do it for 3 months. You come back to me, check natin yung BP monitoring mo. If it has improved, then just continue that one. No? Tawag dito. So, sorry, nawala tuloy ako.
Yeah, yung sa lifestyle modification, ano.
Oo. So, yung lifestyle modification is actually a cornerstone of treatment. Pero ang issue kasi nangyayari is people come to us late na. So nangyayari, ang for most of my patients actually when they come in na kasi they're paying attention to their health na and in their 40s or 50s. Lifestyle modification pa din plus medication. So hand in hand sila. Hindi pa pwedeng hiwalay. However, yun, ang nagiging challenge nga lang is pagdating sa lifestyle, mahirap kasing baguhin eh.
Yeah. Totoo.
Kaya, yun din. Kaya a lot of people actually develop these diseases. Totoo, lifestyle is a big factor that causes yung hypertension, diabetes. It's difficult to address kasi behavior yan eh.
Yeah.
Yung kung saan ka nasanay, di ba? Kailan mo lang ba marirealize nung bata ka pa? Hindi. Kung kailan matanda ka na at yung mga hook mo into how you eat, yung hook mo on how you tend to not be physically active, na ingrained na yan sa sistema mo eh.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to remove. Totoo yun, mahirap talaga.
Automatic na kasi sa'yo, no?
Yeah.
If tama pagkakaintindi ko, Doc, no, yung sa CPG or yung Clinical Practice Guidelines is yung talagang inuuna talaga yung mag-modify muna before ingesting anything else. Kasi yun din siguro yung common knowledge ng mga tao na once na nagpunta sila sa doktor, pagsasabihan sila at preresetahan sila ng mahal na gamot.
Gamot agad.
And ako, I'm genuinely glad na you're the type of the physician, doc, na talagang yun yung unang practice lifestyle modification. Kasi totoo naman, economically affordable siya, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Pero at the same time, expensive by effort. Kasi pagbalik nila sa bahay nila, they're gonna be in the same environment, same yung kultura ng kung paano sila kumain, lifestyle. Kaya siguro, nag-agree ako na very behavioral pala yung paglaban sa mga ganong diseases, no? Pero, Doc, paano ka nagde-deal? For example, yun nga, sabi mo, hindi ka nagpe-prescribe lifestyle modification. Now, it's the behavioral problem. Like, ano yung mga challenges na kinakaharap mo when you're talking to patients na hindi mo na nga pinrescribe ng gamot, in-encourage mo mag-lifestyle modification, pero hindi yata adherent. Paano mo hinaharap yung mga ganong challenges?
Yun pa lang yung keyword, adherence. For the past years that I've been practicing family medicine, and I'm trying to, gawin itong pagdodoktor plus pagiging fitness professional. Maraming pasyente na we will discuss it once. And then I will schedule them for an early follow-up after 1 week or 2 weeks para dun sa behavioral counseling on exercise. Hindi siya nangyayari.
Walang ano.
They're excited to talk about it. They're excited to listen about it. And they're taking notes actually on our first consult about it. Kasi nandyan yung fear eh. Nandyan yung motivation na, ay, may sakit na ako. Ay, malala na pala, ganito. Ay, hindi pala kaya ng gamot ko lang. So, yun yung isa sa mga challenges ko. And syempre, hindi naman ako pwedeng pumilit ng pasyente na, oh, bakit di ka bumalik? No? Hindi naman ako naghahabol ng benta.
Totoo.
Pero, yun, ang sad lang din. Kasi syempre, if you will think about it, pag-uwi nila sa bahay, as you mentioned, pag-uwi nila sa bahay, ano yung nakaharap sa kanila? Conducive ba for exercise yung bahay?
Yeah.
Is the entire family
Yes.
into exercise? Or, ngayon lang kasi pumasok sa isip niya, once na dumating siya sa bahay, oh, mukhang pagod ka na, o higa ka muna dito, pahinga ka na, ha? Bawal mapagod. Yun yung mga mahilig sabihin ng mga mas tatanda eh.
Oo nga.
Yung pagkain sa bahay, anong available, di ba? So, there's actually a way to go about it. Kaya ang core, siguro for the physicians, and not just the physicians, pati yung mga personal trainers, sa atin, as fitness professionals, madali lang gumawa ng exercise program. Yan ang training natin. Eh. So, when you are doing your practice, I'd like you to explore yung side of behavioral counseling na ano siya eh, madali siyang pag-usapan sa libro.
Yeah.
May mga, ano lang yan, may mga five
Yes.
ganito, key steps on how
Yeah.
to, ano. Pero pag ginagawa mo na, yun yung mahirap eh.
Mm.
Kasi it's a very different encounter for every individual and you have to modify around that. So yun yung I think the big lump of a major challenge when it comes to addressing this. And there's a way, may
Yeah.
models naman. You really just have to learn. Sa amin, sa family physicians, the American Academy of Family Physicians, meron silang tinatawag na 5 A's model on how to address weight management. And this is actually similar to how we address smoking cessation, yung yung nicotine addiction, alcohol addiction. Same lang din yung similar yung fina-follow namin na pattern.
Na model.
So yun, naaralin mo yun and then you put it into practice and hopefully yan.
Sobrang nag-agree ako doon sa sinabi mo na madaling pag-usapan sa libro pero once you're talking about it with the patient or client, parang may big elephant eh. Kasi parang una-una ayaw mo silang ma-offend.
Yeah.
Ayaw
Oo,
mo silang
totoo yun.
parang yung ma-call out. Pero as professionals na nasa side tayo with the movement na gusto natin ma-improve yung quality of life nila.
Yan.
And there must be apprehension talaga para maramdaman nila na may mali sa ginagawa nila. Kumaga parang ang hirap din kasing pagsabihan yung ibang kliyente na or pasyente na mabilis na offend. Kaya sabi ko, wow, sobrang consistent kasi I've been talking with my past guests. Isa-isa yan yung sinasabi. Madali mag-program, madali mag-plan ng diet. Ang problema, yung environment mo ba is conducive for you to enforce those habits so that you can adhere to such plan, whether exercise or nutrition. Gaya mo sinabi mo, Dok, pag uwi, inako mo dito, pagod ka na, kumain ka na muna dito. Diba? Or, minsan na-alienate pa nga eh. Diet ka pa, niloloko mo lang yung sarili mo, di ba?
Yun din. Oo.
So, maraming ganon. And this leads me to the question, Doc. Aside from the industrialization na nangyari sa atin, tingin mo yung Filipino culture is also the culprit. Bakit ganito yung mga sakit na meron tayo?
Yeah. Oh, actually, culture is a big factor in how people make decisions eh. Ano naman tayo mga Pinoy, social tayo, hindi naman
Yes.
tayo solitary individuals na self-empowered eh.
Totoo.
Umaasa tayo sa abiso ni nanay, abiso ni lolo, lola,
Mga kaibigan.
kaibigan, yan. So, pagka na-feel na natin yung social pressure, that's when we start na crumbling na okay, sige, back to usual programming.
Kasi yung environment mo, sabi nga yung sa libro, binasa ko yung Atomic Habits eh, na
Oh, yeah. That's a good
environment is an invisible hand that shapes your decision making or yung habits eh, di ba? So, aside from consultation talaga, Doc, would you say na, kasi ako sinasabi ko sa mga clients ko na, fitness program ka, sino nakakalam ng gagawin mo? Ako lang, coach. May pinagkakatiwala ka ba na gustong mong i-inform na ganito ginagawa mo? Kasi ako, encourage kita magsabi ka. Dahil kapag di nila alam yung goal mo, baka nabaviolate nila yung boundary mo, madaan ka sa pressure. Ganun ka, diba, Doc, sa mga patients?
Oo, actually kasama din yan sa practice guidelines when it comes to
Kailangan
counseling.
din. Oo.
Kaya nga, family medicine kami. Kasi you mentioned kanina sa introduction yung biopsychosocial approach. In family practice, we do not treat the patient lang. We interview the patient. Ano yung situation sa pamilya ninyo? What resources, what physical and emotional and mental resources do you have at home? And sino ang pinakamalapit mong ally or healthcare ally? So, maliban lang sa paggamot sa mga sakit na meron dyan, pati yung fitness tsaka nutrition could actually use that same structure on how you interview a client. And it's good to hear that you're doing that. Yun, so I think the two worlds, if yung same structure
same
eh, we're
structure, no?
following, we're
Oo.
treating the same naman na tao eh. If we do that in practice, actually gagana naman siya. In my experience, most of the time, nagiging successful lang din ang pasyente in treatment tsaka in improving their nutrition and fitness kapag if the family is also aware and
Yeah.
involved, no?
Oo.
Kaya ako, pag may nagpapasyente ako, pag may mga dumarating-dating din ng mga grupo-grupo na sila, magkakapareho yung apelido, pinapapasok ko na sila lahat
Sabay-sabay
eh.
na. Oo.
Kasi pare-pareho din naman yung mga diagnosis nila. Last week, mag-asawa. Yung isa is hypertensive with chronic kidney disease. Yung isa is diabetic. Oh. Sila-sila rin
Magkakano?
na nag-aasaran. Oh,
Oo.
dapat di ka kumakain ng ganito. O, yung isa naman, salt
Oo.
restriction, isa sugar restriction.
Mm.
Eh, why not? Let's have just
Yeah.
a plan for the entire family.
Mm.
And then you work together to address your, di ba,
Mm.
problems.
Malaking bagay kasi yung social support eh.
Yeah.
Kasi doon mo makukuha yung sinasabi nila na external drive or push to adhere onto something eh, di ba?
Yeah.
Na for example, papaka-fit ka, nawawala ka ng motivation, pero may mga tao nag-aabang sa'yo na, o magre-remind sa'yo na, tara, workout tayo.
Basta tayo.
Sige na, ayoko.
lakad.
Nahiya naman ako tanggihan to, samahan ko na itong workout.
That's
Pero
true.
ending, makapag-show up ka pala sa training mo, di ba? And sobrang amused lang ako, Doc, na anim kayong kausap ko, it's all about behavioral aspect. Lalo na't ngayon na AI nutrition can really create the program for you in just a good prompt.
Yeah.
Pero how you facilitate that program, yung pag-humanize ng program, hindi talaga marireplace ng AI. No? So talagang
That's
kailangan involved mga tao, hindi robot. No? Sa context ng fitness natin, Doc, ngayon dito sa Philippines, yung opinion mo, based sa POV mo pala, ano sa tingin mo yung mga hindi nakikita ng mga ordinary people na only like you can see?
Yun. So, yung power ng physicians in this aspect of healthcare. Since ang pag-aaral ng medisina is we try to study not just the disease itself, but the trajectory of it. How does it begin? So, kung ang tao, makikita lang niya na, mukhang hypertensive. Mukha pa lang, sabihin
Mukha
pa lang
pa
niya, parang hypertensive ata ako kasi may nararamdaman ako, which doesn't apply all the time kasi hypertension is a silent disease. Pero hindi naman titingin sa BP. Or makikita lang niya first time mataas ang BP niya. Pag pumunta yan sa amin sa clinic, nagsimula yung sakit na yan, hindi today. 10 years ago
10
pa
years
yan.
ago.
Kaya alamin namin what were your habits before. How do you eat? What's your work? Do you exercise at home? Do you smoke? Kasi smoking is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. So lahat ng mga bagay na yon, yung mga nangyari before, maliban doon sa gagamutin natin yung hypertension mo, i-address din natin kung ano yung naging buhay mo noon. Kasi yung gamot, based on years, decades of evidence, is only half the battle. Kaya mangyayari, ang usual trend, maririnig mo, di ba? Tito mo, nag-start ng gamot ngayon. After 3 months, dinagdagan. After another 6 months, dinagdagan na
Kasi
naman.
walang bagong
On 3
ginagawa.
medications na, magre-resistant hypertension na. Kasi the medications, ngayon lang naman yan sinimulan. How often do you take medications versus how often do you eat and drink? Diba?
Totoo.
So, ano kasi yan hindi naman yan magic na hindi siya switch na pag nilagay ko tong gamot na to, bababa
Bababa na to.
BP ko. Medications po take time to take effect. For hypertension, 2 weeks bago magkaroon ng actual na stabilization ng BP. Ano yung ginagawa mo within that period of time, di ba? So, that's the first thing. Second is, we also see how it's gonna go after. If we do not address it now. Kaya minsan, may mga patients na magugulat sila, Dok, bakit 3 gamot kagad? Kasi nakita ko yung kidney function mo, decrease na.
Late.
Meron ka ring impaired fasting glucose, which is, yun po yung stage bago mag-diabetes. May hypertension ka na ngayon, papabayaan ko ba na tumaas din yung blood sugar mo? Both will lead to what?
Yeah.
Cardiovascular disease, which is your top one, ischemic heart disease. Cerebrovascular disease,
Yeah.
o stroke, which is your
Stroke,
top
yeah.
3. Kaya sila yung nandun sa top 5
Oo nga
Kasi lahat, ano ba ang sinisira ng mga yan? Yung daanan po ng dugo. And your blood vessels are everywhere. So, lahat ng areas na meron yan,
Tatamaan.
utak, kidney, puso, binte, paa, daliri. And pag natamaan yon, disability na yung mangyayari sa'yo. So, yung entire spectrum na yun yung perspective ng physicians when you talk to them. And with what I'm doing right now with my work is actually trying to bring that to the fitness trainer as well. Although, syempre, in a simplified
Yeah,
manner
hindi
na
pwedeng medical
applicable.
grade, no?
Or at the very least, magkaroon sila ng idea na itong mga bagay na sinasabi sa inyo ng mga kliyente ninyo, they do not exist in their own
Yeah.
spaces. They are affecting the human body in a systematic manner. So dapat yung approach mo in how you train your clients should have coordination with the physician, and it should also be in a systematic manner.
Mhm.
Uh, ganun.
Ang galing, no? Na kahit na sinasabi niyo na you're the most expert when it comes to the medical uh, status of any individual, kung paano sila gamutin, paano sila pagalangin. Parang hindi pa rin nawawala sa POV mo or principle mo, Doc, na parang parang sa athlete, it takes a village to
Yeah.
develop an Olympian, as well as it takes a village to really develop someone holistically.
Yes,
Hindi
correct.
lang doktor, hindi lang trainers, hindi lang guidance counselor, kundi dapat pati kapamilya nila kasama din,
Kapamilya,
di ba?
yes.
So, hindi talaga madali yung trabaho ng trainer. At the same time, siguro it's a good reminder rin sa mga trainers na hindi rin kayo nandyan sa tabi ng mga clients nyo or kahit yung mga doctors nasa tabi ng mga patients nyo to solve everything, no?
Yeah,
Kailangan talaga
correct.
may self-management din yung client or yung patient na ayusin din yung environment na meron siya dahil di naman niya araw-araw imimit yung trainer or yung doctor, di ba? So,
Yeah.
dapat
Yan,
sa labas may
exactly.
gagawin siya, eh, no? Tapos, ang maganda pa doon, yung, tawag doon, may review ng past. Kasi, parang, hindi ka lang magpapagaling ng ng sakit, magbe-break ka rin pala ng bad habits, eh, no?
Yes.
It's a review for breaking bad habits. At the same time, introducing new ones so that hindi ka makarating dun sa pinaka worst case scenario, no? So, at least, nalalaman nyo na ka-legit na hindi lang about medication, hindi lang about diagnosing kung ano yung sakit nyo, kundi kailangan mag-review din kung ano yung past sa ginagawa natin. At the same time, kailangan din yata natin maging transparent, of course, sa mga trainers or doctors na kakausapin natin so they would know how to help us. And mag-pave yung way kung saan dapat tayo mapunta basta't hindi doon sa pinaka-worst scenario na ayaw nating marating. Tapos, Doc, napag-usapan natin kanina habang kakapit tayo, yung ideal setup sana, no, na
Yeah.
sinasabi mo na may partnership yung exercise professional and medical
Yeah.
professionals. So, possible kaya dito sa Philippines?
Matagal pa, pero posible.
Ah,
Ah, sa nakaraang mga decades, on the side of the doctors, medyo alien yung idea na yun, na you're going to focus one consultation just to discuss fitness and nutrition sa isang pasyente. For the longest time nga noon, pagka merong naoperahan, sasabihin sa'yo, bawal ka munang gumalaw for
yun.
a week
Oo.
kasi hindi sasara ng maayos yung sugat. Pero when I got into med school, the first few things in surgery na tinuro sa amin, ambulate early. 3 days post-op, pinapalakad na po ang pasyente kung pwede.
Oh.
Kasi, ang iniisip natin dito, yung stasis ng dugo, yung hindi gumagalaw ang dugo, which is important yung paggalaw ng dugo for healing.
Yes.
On the side of the fitness professionals, nung naging trainer ako dati sa Gold's Gym, I never imagined that this knowledge will go translating into medical practice. Inisip ko noon, very athletic oriented ako. NSCA, yun ang ano ko tsaka ACE. Although may mga ilang bahid ng information from American Council on Exercise that deals with clinical exercise
Clinical
programming.
exercise.
Pero it's a small chapter
Yeah.
in a very big book na focused on progressive periodized training. So that was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Pero ngayon, at least on my view, we're seeing an alignment na on the healthcare and the fitness industry. Pero alignment pa lang. Meaning
Alignment pa lang.
nag-agree sila. We're both helping the same individual. Diba? Yung tao pa din naman ang tao ang tinitrain natin, tao yung ginagamot natin. So, tayo sa Pilipinas, siguro hindi pa din yun popular na concept.
Yeah.
Ang maraming actually magiging challenges if ever we want to do this. One, yung political environment
Yeah.
tsaka social environment. Kung walang batas, hindi naman yan sisikat eh.
Yeah.
Kung may batas, at least may enforce yan on a national scale.
Mm.
Pangalawa, funding. Saan mo kukunin yung pera? Magbabayad ka ba ng trainer from the national
Yes.
budget
Ah,
para tulungan tong mga
mm.
pasyente natin? Yung idea nga lang ng exercise na it's still on the side is, diba? As long as it's not seen as an essential need,
Hindi
the national
sinasadya.
budget will not
Yeah.
put anything on that.
Tsaka, di ba, ito, sorry to interrupt you, Doc. Recently nga lang, di ba, may dispute nga na kinat pa yung, yung budget sa healthcare system.
Yeah,
So,
oo. May mga
paano
ganun nga.
mag-ano? Yeah. Sige,
Yung
go on.
healthcare itself is actually not seen pa as dapat ito yung priority natin. Ibang priorities ng Pilipinas construction,
Yes.
development, technology. That's okay. Kasi gano'n naman ang naging history ng mga developing countries
Mm.
Pero what we can look at as well, ano na yung ginagawa ng mga developed countries? In Sweden, they have an FAR program na tinatawag o FAR. French kasi I cannot
Yeah.
pronounce. Pero it's essentially the healthcare system has both policy and funding for the past 20 years na ang doktor, gagawa siya ng exercise prescription, ire-refer siya sa isang accredited na fitness professional. May ganun po.
Mm.
In Australia, and I think one of our colleagues, if I remember correct, is an accredited exercise physiologist.
Mm.
So yung AEP or accredited
AEP.
exercise physiologist,
Mm.
nire-referan niya ng doktor, cardiologist, rehab
Yeah.
med, for patients who are not addressing disability, but kailangan ng exercise program for weight management, hypertension, DM management, even patients who are bago pa maging complicated disease. Technically, tinuturo ko nga doon sa mga fitness professionals sa FIC
Mm.
Pagka kayo, nakarinig kayo na may sakit yung kliyente, umaayaw kagad kayo, di ba?
Mm.
Pero, they need you.
Ah.
So, si Australia, meron na siyang ganong sistema na when they identify this patient na ganyan. Tapos, ang isa pang maganda, pasok siya dun sa, tawag dito, Medicare program ng Australia.
Mm.
So, nababayaran yung
Nababayaran yung trainer.
exercise physiologist and trainer
Trainer.
directly from the national funding. Di syempre, gagawin mo yung trabaho na yun, bayad ka
Mm.
In the closest country that we have sa Pilipinas would be Singapore. Sila yung pinakamalapit sa atin. Meron silang referral policy pero it's in the early works pa lang siya. May mga accredited na fitness centers that are working in tandem with health centers to promote physical activity. Although I think the funding is not yet available, pero ginagawa na nila
Ginagawa na
ng
nila.
structure. So, asa na tayo sa Pilipinas? We have the Universal Healthcare Act, RA 11223.
Mm.
So, merong important parts dun sa policy na yon. Si Section 2, if I'm not mistaken, physical activity is mentioned as an essential part in a collaborative work. So, merong batas na nagsasabi sa atin na ang Pilipinas
Activity.
dapat pinopromote ang prevention and complication ng sakit through physical fitness, nutrition, proper medication. Section 30 ng UHC also provides although hindi siya direct na parang outline statement, pero medyo vague mention on physical activity that should be promoted in all healthcare networks. Kasi yun ang gustong gawin ng Pilipinas ngayon. Sanay tayo sa, pag may sakit sa puso, cardiologist.
Yeah.
Sakit sa baga, pulmonologist. Pero now that the UHC is present, we have an understanding na ito mga sakit na to, they do not exist in a vacuum. Isang buong katawan yan eh. So, dapat coordinated ang care.
Yeah.
And part of that coordinated care in that Section 30 is actually physical activity. So, may onti na tayo. Maybe we have one toe in the door already. On top of that, professionals like you, Coach, and we know a lot of our other colleagues are actually thinking towards gawin nating accredited yung mga fitness professionals natin. Kasi kung may policy na existing, dapat meron kang superseding organization that ensures that the quality of service provided is always in line with science,
Yeah.
is the same across the board. So, hindi
Yeah.
dahil mas malaki yung binayad ni client, kaya mas okay yung
Yeah.
ibibigay ko na program. Di ba? Naging consistent siya. And then, on top of that, on the healthcare side, at least sa amin, the Philippine Heart Association is now actively, a bit more active in promoting their cardio rehab services. So, meron pong ganon, cardio,
Cardio rehab.
rehabilitation. Na-mention ko kanina, dati, ang adage, pagka naoperahan ka or nagka-heart attack ka, bed
Pahinga
rest
ka,
ka lang muna.
bed rest.
Ngayon, we want patients to be more active as early as possible. So, dapat syempre stable. And yung mga cardio rehab clinics, may mga ilang tertiary hospitals, St. Luke's, Medical City, Makati Med. Ang mga nagmaman doon are physical therapists. I've not heard yet na may exercise physiologists involved. So, mostly PT na magbibigay na ng reseta ng exercise ang cardiologist.
Isipin mo,
for them to do.
niresetahan yung exercise, no?
Yeah. Pwede naman kasi siya ireseta talaga.
Yeah.
Pero, that's in the clinical setting. Hindi yan yung sa setting na for the general public or ito yung para sa mga pasyente na may complication na. So, medyo late nga lang yung approach. Pero at least it's there already.
it's there already.
So, that's another toe in the door. And then, syempre, on the primary care side, so sa amin, sa Philippine Academy of Family Physicians, one of the parang subspecialty or affiliate subspecialties namin is lifestyle medicine. Meron na po tayong ganun, the Philippine College of Lifestyle Medicine. Although medyo more on focus sila sa nutrition, pero they're also trying to help promote physical activity for our patients who are not in hospital. Naka-outpatient care. So yun, may mga ilang piraso na. And I think those things, along with involvement of more professionals in this whole thrust of pushing forward fitness as a basic part of patient and client care, makakapunta tayo doon. Pero siguro
Malayo pa.
plus 10 years
Yeah.
siguro. But we have to start now.
Yeah,
Kasi Sweden nga, it's a well-developed country, pero 20 years ago lang naging in full swing yung program nila. So, it might take us a little longer.
Or at least we should come prepared in case na there's a policy in place na
Yan,
tsaka to
exactly.
be implemented then.
Basta merong opportunity, and then talking about it is one of the many opportunities that we can to push it forward. Basta merong opportunity, we should make the most of it talaga. Kasi doon lang naman yan uusad eh.
Totoo. With how I'm seeing yung universal healthcare doc, no?
Yeah.
Parang tama yung pagkakatiti ko na, for example, for a personal trainer, if ganun ka-strong yung universal healthcare system natin is parang magkakaroon sila ng kliyente na hindi lang dahil sa pagbebenta na sa social media.
Yeah.
Kundi basically parang gobyerno na yung nagbibigay ng kliyente sa kanila through the pathway na medical, tapos biglang yung medical referral system na, dito ka sa gym na to, hanapin po nung trainer na to, siya yung nag-specialize na ito. So, ganun pala.
Accredited siya sa PhilHealth.
Credit.
So,
Yun
yung PhilHealth budget, magkakaroon ng code ng diagnosis na for fitness programming. And then may nakaatas na ito yung amount of money that's going to be given to the
Subsidized,
personal trainer. Di ba?
Isipin mo yun, no? Na incentivize at saka subsidize yung pagkakaroon ng intervention with the personal trainer. No?
Yun yung ideal setup, I think. Syempre, may mga butas yun when it comes to pag nandun na tayo. Pero at least, nagiging normal na siya.
Yeah.
Hindi siya yung for aesthetics lang or luxury lang. Diba?
Pinag-uusapan na siya at saka nino-normalize yan ng mga tao. No? So, ganun pala. Si Doc Fidel na nagsabi na ang pinakaunang best intervention talaga na we can do or at least first step para hindi ma-aggravate yung mga nararamdaman natin. Of course, wag pa check up and wag i-rule out agad yung physical activity. Kasi doon din yung naging frustration ko na maraming mga doctor na may kaibigan na nagpa-consult sa doctor, ito yung naging condition niya. Sabi ko, paano mo? Tennis ka pa? Hindi, talagang bawal daw ako 1 linggo. Sabi ko, anyway, ayoko may pagtalo sa sinasabi ng doktor mo, pero ito yung condition mo, may pilay ka lang sa paa, hindi ka na pwede mag-tennis-tennis. So may mga ganun sila na siguro super safe yung prescription. Lalo na't ngayon may nakikita ko sa social media na pati yung mga prenatal tsaka yung talagang currently buntis, may physical activity pa lang pwede sa kanila.
Meron, oo.
Eh sa mga Pilipino, mapano yung anak mo dyan sa tiyan mo, di ba, Dok? So, tama, malayo pa tayo. If we will start with the mindset, pero yung magpapabago ng mindset, Dok, I don't know, Dok, mag-agree kayo yung may policy sana kasi may
Yeah.
enforce tayo to follow a specific protocol or specific system para mag-change din automatically yung behavior natin. Sige. So, Doc, after all those consultations with Filipino patients,
Yeah.
ano itong mga truths na we fail to realize?
Ano ba? I think the first truth that I would mention is yung na-mention ko na rin kanina. Yung mga sakit na yan, hindi po yan nagsisimula kung kailan kayo nakita ng doktor.
Mm.
Nakita kayo ng doktor kasi nangyayari na yan for the past 10 years. Or even mula nung pagkabata nyo po. So, once you've seen na meron ka ng diagnosis na yun, it would be also good for you as the patient or as the client to look back. Ano ba yung mga ginagawa ko dati? How do I eat? Ano yung mga scenario na nasa oras ng kain ko? Kasi, again, behavior nga eh. Similar to, mahilig ako mag-chips pagka masaya ako,
Yeah.
pag nanonood ako ng TV. Yung ganong setup na meron kang hook and then meron kang behavior, you have to look back into that. Ano yung mga ganun ko? So that, pag naiintindihan mo na siya, tatanggalin mo muna yung hook para yung behavior, nasasabihin mo, hindi na ako magaganitong pagkain o
Yes,
inumin.
ano,
Dahil tinanggal mo yung association ng dalawa, mas madali ka ngayong magbabago yung behavior mo. Diba? O instead na pag nanonood ako ng TV, I'll have a ready bowl of vegetables or yung pwedeng pangasin mo na
alternatives
lang.
na lang, no?
Or, in the long run, avoid na manood na laging may sinusubo sa
Yeah.
leg. Ganun. So, yun yung una. You have to look into your past behaviors and you can consult with your doctor or sa amin, you can have counseling with the family physician to help you cut those bits of behavior that are pushing your disease forward.
Mm.
Second, ano ba? Hard truths. Yung mga sakit po na nabanggit natin, yung mga top killers natin, tandaan nyo, most of the time, tahimik sila. Pagka may sintomas ka na, that's the time that they are bringing complications already. So, nandun ka na sa gitna na portion ng sakit na meron ka kapag may symptoms na. So, anong takeaway natin dito? Again, the adage of prevention is better than cure still applies today. All the more, diba? So kung alam mo na yung family members mo, meron kayong history of cardiovascular disease, no? May namatay ng maaga, hindi pa 60 years old, namatay na sa sakit sa puso,
Yeah.
biglaan, yung sudden cardiac death. Or may diabetic sa family. Most of the family is obese. If you've napanood nyo kami and we were discussing about this and you've already in your mind na
Ako yata
maybe
to.
I should start doing something. Yes,
Yun na yun.
you should. Hindi naman po biglaan na proseso yan, pero you start with that idea in mind. And then in relation, yung third hard truth, pagka meron ka ng motivation to do it, realize that there will always be things that will get in your way. And those things, wag mo rin siyang tignan as purely negative. Din tao ka eh. Diba? So anong address natin doon? Ang lagi kong pinapayo sa patients ko, instead of thinking na ito bawal to, think of alternative. Anong pwede kong ipalit dito?
Yeah.
Alam kong hindi ito makakabuti sa akin, but I like it, I enjoy it. So how can I replace it so that I don't feel more frustrated and more ready to give up on this journey of me
Yeah.
preventing illness or treating my illness? Yung minention ko kanina na kung na-identify mo na yung behavioral hook, so that's where you put it yung mga pamalit. Case in point, sa smoking. Pagka mga tao po na nag-UOC and they go into smoking counseling, the doctor's not gonna tell you to just outright, oh, tigilan mo na yan.
Yeah.
Oh, tigilan mo na yan. What brings you to smoke? Pag nag-CR ako, gusto ko, after ko mag-CR,
Yes.
mag-iossi ako. So, anong gagawin natin doon? Well, for one, ang pinakamadali, nicotine patch or a nicotine gum that you have ready in your pocket pagka pupunta ka na doon sa behavior na yun, which is magsi-CR ka. For some clients or some patients, ang ano nila is yung oral fixation. So, instead na meron kang dalang yosi, magdala ka ng gum, magdala ka ng candy, and then you suck on that candy
Just keep it
after.
busy
Diba?
lang, no?
May onti lang naman sugar nun, 2 grams lang.
Yeah,
If you're worried about diabetes
Okay,
after
mas
that,
marami pang
diba?
sugar yung fruits.
Yung, oo, di ba? Mas mataas pa.
So, taas pa.
So, okay lang yun. Tapos, wag matakot na mag-backslide. It's part of the entire process. Ang pinaka-importante dyan is you just make sure that your motivation is there. Your awareness is there. Hindi mo tinatago or hindi mo tinatago sa sarili mo o sa iba na meron kang ganyang challenge.
Yeah.
And then, you get help. Kasi kahit kami, doctors, we ask for help too. From other professionals. Just make sure that you're getting the right kind of help para lang tuloy-tuloy ka dun sa progress mo. Tandaan nyo yung progress, di naman yan ganyan eh.
Yeah. Hindi siya linear.
Step ladder yan, tapos minsan may gaganon.
Babagsak.
Tapos gaganon ka ulit. Okay lang yun. Compare mo na lang yun sa sarili mo na hindi ka nag-decide gawin yun.
Wala
You're still
talaga.
there, no? Di ba? You're still improving. Yun. That and on top of kung may medication na binigay yung doctor sa inyo.
Kumbaga no, like kung naisip niyo mag-workout, sumunod sa YouTube, nakikita niyo yun yung pinaka-easiest step for you, sundan niyo na. Basta't yung easy lang muna para sa inyo. O for example, if may kayo sa sweets, kung naisip niyo na from one serving, ubusin niyo, kalahatiin niyo na muna, gradually tanggalin. Kasi talagang, sabi nga nila yung cold turkey, na mahirap yun drastic change
Mahirap siya.
Nire-resist ng katawan yung drastic change di ba? So, dapat gradual din yung change. Pero at the same time, dapat intentional at saka nire-remind kayo sa sarili nyo na you're doing that gradually, it's because you want to change. Hindi lang dahil tinitreat nyo yung sarili ninyo. Sobrang insightful nun, Doc, no? Na tahimik ang sakit. Minsan, tama yung sinasabi mo na hindi kayo nagkasakit kung kailan kumausap kayo ng doktor. Actually, linya ng mga Pilipino yun, no? Ayoko magpa-check up.
Kasi
Pag
baka
kumausap
pala
ng doktor, magkakasakit na ako eh. 'Di ba? Pero ako, di nyo na-realize ko habang pinapakinggan kita, Doc, na wait lang. Oo nga naman, hindi doktor na gano'n. Pinapangalanan nila kung yung nararamdaman mo, pero naramdaman mo na yan beforehand. Di naman agad nangyayari yan, di ba? So I think it's a lesson for us na even though na wala tayong nararamdaman, but we have the budget to have ourselves checked, please do so. Kasi, yun nga, prevention is better than cure. So, Doc, yung last question ko sa'yo, alam mo naman yung mga typical typical Filipinos. Alam yung konteksto nila in terms of yung salary, economic status nila. Ano kaya pwede gawin ng mga typical para hindi nila makuha or at least they win against these Filipino killer diseases?
Sige. Ano rin yan, multifactorial din yan na answer.
Siguro kahit 3.
Sige, we'll go with the 3. So, yung mga sakit na yan, para sa ating typical Juan, titignan mo lagi yung aspect ng biology, culture, tsaka yung society as a whole, no? So, kasi ang healthcare, magastos yan pagka nagsa-start ka ng maggamot eh. So, kung alam mo na ang trajectory ng iyong income is not that much, no? Maybe you can start putting energy and effort na into preventing illnesses from happening. Ang kagandahan sa Pilipinas compared to the US, I would say, wala tayong gaanong food desert. Kung narinig nyo na yung term na yun, yung food deserts.
Ako ngayon ko pa
May
siya
mga communities sa New York, titignan natin, upscale sila, di ba?
Yeah.
Pero yung mga communities dun sa mga big cities ng US, walang access ang regular or low-income class na American to buy vegetables and fresh meat. Ang puntahan nila is the bodega. Bodega is yung sari-sari store. At ang meron doon, cigarettes, beer, chips.
Processed foods,
That's it.
no?
The canned food. Kaya ang taas ng rates ng nila mga sakit na ganito sa kanila. Sa atin, sa Pilipinas, ano meron tayo? Bawat barangay. May palengke
Palengke.
tayo.
Oo.
And although ngayon medyo volatile ang prices, no? So that's a challenge.
Mm.
Pero kung titingnan mo naman across the board, bibili ka ng um, restaurant or processed food sa labas versus bibili ka ng gulay na tigi isang tali
Yeah.
sa palengke. Yun, pasok yun sa budget
Oo.
ng low-income individual. Kahit sa middle-income individual, bawas pa yan sa gastusin mo, di ba? And that's, I think, what we have to capitalize on and support. Yung pagkakaroon ng mga local na palengke sa atin. Tumangkilik kayo doon, bili kayo doon.
Mm.
Ang kagandahan din sa ating kultura is mula pagkabata na expose na tayo sa pagluluto, di ba?
Oo, di ba?
Ang medyo hindi nga expose sa pagluluto, yung mga medyo nasa higher income
Yeah.
kasi sanay na sila
Papaluto
eating
na lang.
out, may ibang nagluluto para sa kanila. Pero sa mga ating mga kababayan na in the low income household tsaka middle income household, kung ano yung tinuro sa inyo ng magulang ninyo, siguro i-refine nyo na lang kasi
Yeah.
baka masyadong mataas in sodium or sugar. Pero yung cooking techniques na
Nandun pa
paglagay
rin, no?
sa binalot sa dahon ng saging tapos isi-steam
Yeah.
mo. I mean, Americans don't do that, pero
Yeah.
we do that.
Mm.
And we should capitalize on that. So yun, meron na tayo nun sa nutrition. Pangalawa, kung merong challenge in terms of sa pamilya nyo na inaano ka, sasabihan ko, nag-exercise ka o nagda-diet ka, wala namang patutunguhan yan. One, kung hindi mo kayang labanan yung boses kaagad, you consult with one of us professionals. Sa Pilipinas, ang kagandahan, kahit medyo baliko yung ating healthcare system, there's the side of the government naman na healthcare system na nagsusupport na magbigay ng libreng serbisyo.
Yeah.
Kaya mga taga Makati swerte talaga eh.
Ah.
When I was training in hospital ng Makati, lahat ng mga residente, mga training institution, yung training institution na yun, lahat ng departments, merong one aspect na meron silang community activity.
Mm.
So, syempre kami yung pinaka nagmamanage. No?
Yeah.
Pero we work with internal medicine, we work with rehab medicine to reach out to our kababayans na wala talagang pambayad sa konsulta. And I think other cities are trying to model that as well. So, kung meron po mga programa that will raise your health literacy or mas matuto pa ukol sa kalusugan na libre, attend kayo isang oras, di ba? Kesa sa pumunta ka ng mall, pumunta ka ng restaurant, pumunta ka McDo, tapos kakain ka na naman ng di ba? So, talaga, empowering po yung sarili ninyo sa education is the first and pinaka-importante na step. Kasi pag alam mo na, when you go home, pwede mo ikwento sa kapamilya mo, sinabi ito. Or pwede mo kayain yung mga family members nyo na tinutuya ka dahil nag-improve ka sa lifestyle. And then, ang kasi is, syempre, baka they're also speaking for themselves. Na matanda na sila pero ngayon lang nila na-realize na mas maganda alagaan sarili. So, instead of being combative o palaban, mas maigi siguro, tanungin mo din sila, ano po ba ang bumabagabag sa isip nyo? Bakit nyo ako nasasabihan ng ganyan? Gusto nyo po ba sumali? Gusto nyo po bang matuto? Kasama ko. And then, pagkaayaw, then just focus ka na lang. Develop. That's what we're doing actually with our communities as well. Kasi alam namin na ang self-esteem ng Pilipino medyo maraming kalaban So, pagka kayo po, nakikita nyo na meron na kayong rason, may purpose kayo doon sa gusto nyong gawin. Alam nyo kung ano yung importansya ng gagawin ninyo. Build upan nyo lang po yan. Kumpiyansa sa sarili lang po din. No? Sana mahanap nyo po at may mga tutulong naman din sa inyo mahanap yun. Last but not least, so punta na tayo sa exercise. Ito yung challenge din. Kasi exercise sa atin sa Pilipinas is seen as a luxury.
Yes.
Pag nag-subscribe ka ng gym membership, sabihin may yaman ka, di ba? Pero, again, like palengke, di ba? Sa barangay, meron ding bakal gym.
Bakal gym.
Magkano? 50 pesos. Yung 50 pesos na yun, magkano ang isang pakete ng sigarilyo ngayon? Nasa isang pack. More than. Mga nasa 100 plus.
100 plus na yata.
Isang bote ng beer, 30 pesos. Di ba?
Yun na lang, no?
Di ba? So, ano lang yan? Saan ko mas magagamit ang pera ko? Syempre, alam natin sa Bakal Gym, medyo may ano rin. Pero usually friendly naman po. I mean, marami na rin ako napuntahan na Bakal Gym, kahit galing ako sa Gold's Gym. Very accommodating naman ang mga
Mm.
tao. May mga resources online kung may access ka sa data. Or pwede ka naman magpaturo na lang din doon sa
Yeah.
coach doon.
Oh.
Sige, hindi siya batikang coach. Hindi siya accredited sa ganito.
Mm.
Pero yun yung access mo. Kumpara sa wala kang ginagawa versus
Yes.
meron kang sinimulan,
Mm.
okay na yun.
Mm.
Magwo-work ka talaga within your budget. Pero again, something is better than nothing.
Yes.
Ayaw mong mag-gym kasi for mga lalaki.
Ah,
Maglakad ka. Actually, yun yung pinakamura and that's why the
yes.
WHO physical activity guidelines will always promote walking
Mm.
as a form of exercise. Ito na lang para may take home po kayo. Ang paglalakad na nakikipagdaldalan ka sa katabi mo, hindi yan exercise.
Yeah.
Kung maglalakad ka
Na
para
may structure.
mamalengke, I also tell my patients, yung pamamalengke po, hindi rin siya pasok. Bakit?
Yeah.
Kasi titigil-tigil ka,
Yeah.
hindi ka naman hinihingal.
Mm.
So, ito, libre na to. If maglalakad po, dapat sa bilis na hihingalin kayo. So, hindi pawis sa lahat ng nakikinig. Hindi po pagpapawis ang basis
Basihan.
na nag-exercise ka para mag-improve ang iyong cardiovascular health, tsaka magbawas ng timbang. Yung bilis ng paghinga natin po, alam natin yan sa
Yeah.
movement science, yung ventilatory threshold. Pag po umabot na kayo sa punto na hinihingal kayo, yung katawan nyo nagsisimula ng magsunog ng taba.
Mm.
Yung daanan ng dugo nyo become more elastic
Yeah.
kasi nga they want to put more
More
oxygen
bloods, no?
para overall ma-sustain niya yung effort na ginagawa mo.
Mm.
So, yun po, maabot niyo yung bilis na yun, maabot kayo ng 30 minutos, pero syempre hindi naman kagad 30 minutes. You
Yeah.
can start with 15-minute bouts per session.
Mm.
Libre yun. Kahit hindi maganda sapatos mo,
Yeah,
kahit
kahit
magchinelas
nakachinelas ka
ka na
lang,
lang,
oh.
okay lang. May nasimulan ka
Mm.
okay na yun, no? Hindi naman gagaling yung kalusugan mo dahil maganda sapatos mo.
Yes.
Huwag kayong masyadong maano dun sa mga flashy na mga nakikita nyo na sa
Mm.
social media. And then yun, ang pinaka-importante talaga is yung dalas. So kahit hindi kayo umabot kagad dun sa mabilis, hindi kagad 30 minutes, ang importante, as much as possible, walang 2 araw na lalampas na hindi ka
Hindi ka
nag-ehersisyo.
nag-exercise.
Health-wise, very beneficial na po yun.
Mhm.
Ma-achieve nyo na yung 150 to 300 minutes per
Per
week
week.
na nire-recommenda ng World Health Organization towards preventing and actually treating
Treating.
hypertension and diabetes.
Very low cost, no? Na paglalakad lang, tapos kahit nakachinelas.
Pwede naman.
Na-remind din ako, Doc, nung may ginawa rin kasi yung video regarding dun sa walking and exercise. Basta ang exercise structured po siya. So,
Yeah.
gaya sinabi ni Doc, pag namalengke kayo naglalakad, well, it's a physical activity but it's not a structured exercise.
correct.
Kung gusto niyo magkaroon ng improvement, kailangan may progression. At kung may progression, pinaplano siya. So, siguro a tip from a fitness professional, kung gusto niyo mag-improve yung cardio niyo through walking, minsan bumibilis, minsan bumabagal yung lakad, humahaba ng paunti-unti, nagpapahinga din of course, para makita nyo in the long run, makita nyo na mas madali na yung nilalakad ninyo kahit na dati nahirapan kayo, for example, 30 minutes, ito yung pacing, but after 6 weeks or 8 weeks, ito yung pacing, ito yung duration, pero kita nyo mas madali na para sa inyo. So that's the time na you can do progression. But again, pag may structure, dun siya nagiging exercise. Okay. So, Doc, I feel privileged na matuto from you. Ang dami ko nalaman with this brief time with you, lalo na sa medical grade. And it feels really securing na and assuring na may mga physicians pa rin na very advocate pa rin ng movement and physical activity. At saka I think it gives hope to Filipinos na number one, mag-consult sa doktor dahil hindi lahat ng doktor gamot agad ang i-require sa kanila. May mga doctors like you na magsasabi na wala kang kailangan gastusin, baka kailangan mo lang ayusin yung sapatos mo or tsinelas mo para makapaglakad-lakad ka so that you can modify your lifestyle. So, yeah, I think lalo sa mga ka-legit, kasi tawag ko sa nila ka-legit mas magiging sila, what you call this, less yung fear nila sa pag-intervene with a medical professional kasi there are people like you na nagsasuggest kung ano yung pinaka-lowest economically costly activity na pwede nilang gawin other than just ingesting a medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks the stigma na pag magkakasakit ako kapag nakikipag-usap na ako sa doktor. I think they will be enlightened more this time na maging self-aware sila. Tapos kapag mayroon silang di magandang nararamdaman, hindi sila takot lumapit sa doktor. And Doc, baka may mga gusto kayo promote. Like, of course, I know you do consultations. Feel free to share it kung paano ka marireach yung mga nakikinig sa atin.
Yeah. Currently yung clinic ko po actually is Makati Life. Then meron kaming 24 hours na outpatient department. So, na-imagine nyo ba yun? Pupunta ka sa clinic kahit anong oras may
Kahit anong oras.
doktor. It's actually the first, I think, sa Pilipinas na hindi po ito emergency room. Pero yung mga simpleng
Steady na
headache, ganyan, sakit ulo ko, nahihilo ko, kailangan ko magpa-test for hypertension or diabetes. Accessible po kami.
Makati.
I'm there Tuesdays and Wednesdays na 2 to 10 p.m. Tsaka sa Friday din sa 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. actually. Isang buong mahabang duty siya. Maliban doon sa mga listeners po who are in Cavite, meron ako pong clinic schedule on Mondays and Wednesdays ng umaga, 9 a.m. to 12 noon sa Imus, Cavite po, sa Medica Intern na clinic. Kung papalain siguro, soon to happen sa De La Salle University na.
Uy, yan.
Nagpaparinig lang dito. Pero, para lang sure po, I will be updating naman if ever yung mga clinic schedules sa Facebook page ko. It's not a very busy Facebook page, pero may Facebook page po ako, so you can reach me, Dr. Fidel Rodrigo Ballesteros, DFM. Yun na siguro.
Doc, hingin ko yung mga link kasi I would be happy to post
Okay, sige, sure.
doon sa social media, like lalo sa YouTube, in case they want to do some online consultations or
Now serving pala. Meron din ako doon.
online consultations. No?
Pwede
Ayan.
din.
So, ilalagay ko sa description ng YouTube tsaka ng podcast, Spotify account ko, yung links on how you're going to reach out to Doc Fidel so that you can have your subject. Lalo na't ngayon, di ba? Kayo mga nakikinig, into fitness kayo, plus at the same time, you're doing it to improve your health. O, si Doc, sports science graduate na, tapos medicine practitioner pa. So, yeah, 2-in-1 na. Okay? So, sana marami kayo natutunan. If ever na may mga natutunan kayo, tsaka talagang very striking yung sinabi ni Doc or sinabi namin pareho, we would be happy to see ourselves sa mga stories niyo, tag kami sa stories niyo. And if tingin nyo maraming kailangan makinig na itong episode to, we would be happy to know na masishare nyo siya sa mga kilala niyo. Kasi sa ganitong paraan namin pwede makakuha ng wider reach yung platform namin. And I think this is the first podcast on fitness and health dito sa Philippines. So, para makapagtuloy-tuloy kami, kailangan namin ng support niyo. So yun, Doc. Sana hindi pa to yung huli, Doc, ha? And hopefully in the near future, marami pa tayong mapag-usapan and sana mapaulakan mo.
Sana next time may policy na, no?
Oo, sana next time may policy na.
Mag-usap
Yun
tayo,
ang mapag-usapan
ipapromote na natin yung policy.
Ano na yung mga changes, no? Tapos, maybe
Sana,
with a group, pag lumaki-laki itong studio na to, I can accommodate more people. Kung mga round table session, yun yung maganda. So, yun, don't forget to subscribe sa YouTube tsaka sa podcast and I'll see you in the next episode.